Hey folks, another cool little piece I want to bring to you all today. Borrowed from a good friend of mine. This is a Cimarron 1851 revolver, but this one's a little bit different in that this is the Man with No Name edition. In the fact that this is a cartridge conversion 1851, so this is actually chambered in 38 special. There's a few ways you can tell that. One of which, and this is unloaded, is the loading gate here, which of course is not present on the black powder versions. And then of course the sights as well has also been moved to the back of the barrel right there that you can see. Normally for 1851s, the rear sight is part of the rear of the hammer here. So when you are fully cocked, the rear sight would be basically right there on that part of the hammer to line up with your front sight as well. So that's two of the big differences for one of these cartridge conversion 1851s. So I've never actually had a 1851 black powder revolver. All I have is the 1858, which I reviewed previously. So I really wanted to get a hand on one of these things and just kind of see how it handled and shot. And I never actually shot a cartridge conversion gun quite like this. And this particular model is actually kind of hard to come across because Cimarron didn't really make a whole lot of these. And it's specifically the Man with No Name, so it has the special engraving on the cylinder and everything, and still has a loading lever here, which of course is not actually functional for its original intended purpose. But it does come with a pretty cool piece here that comes out of a loading lever, and this is to get the spent casings out of the cylinder. Because you may be thinking, okay, well, how do you get the cartridge cases out? And that's the way they kind of engineered it. So you'll have your usual half cock to spin the cylinder, and then of course it lines up with the loading gate here. So you take some kind of object, rod, okay, it's like the rod that's built into the gun or anything else, and you just stick it through the front here and punch your cases out. So that is a very slow method, but it is certainly faster than loading individual black powder cartridges. I can definitely tell you that for sure. And then of course with the open top Colt designs, this is a usual wedge here that holds the whole thing together. And it is pretty interesting that they have the I noticed there's a small set screw here that you have to rotate out of the way that sits in a divot in the wedge itself. So you would unscrew the set screw to where it clears the divot there in the wedge. You knock the wedge out, and with this one was actually pretty tight. I had to use a nylon hammer to get the wedge out here. And then for the life of me, I could not separate the barrel here from the arbor, the central arbor here. Normally you just take it and just literally just pull it apart. I was not physically able to do that. So for whatever reason, I have no idea. Maybe it's just made that tight or something, I don't know. So unfortunately with my shooting experience, I did actually have a squib load that got caught about this far down the barrel. Like if you look down the barrel, you could actually see the bullet in there. And I knew immediately it was a squib because there was almost no recoil, and also there wasn't a hole in the target. So I was like, there's no way I was shooting that bad, because the target was at 10 yards, and with something like this, there's no way you're missing that. So I actually took a rod, not this one, but a different rod, and I just tossed it down the barrel like this, and sure enough, it stopped at about right there, so I was like, yep, that's a squib. So immediately stopped shooting, emptied all the ammo out of it, and then I realized without taking the barrel off, there's no way to punch the spent round inside the barrel out the front. I could, take a hammer and punch it back down into the barrel, and then it would get caught in the cylinder. Like, what's the point of that, right? So I have to just stop shooting, and like I said, because I wasn't able to take this off, I had to go to a gunsmith, and they were able to get it off and knock the bullet out of the barrel there. So that all worked out fine. But it was a little annoying that I was not able to do that myself. But later on, when I did go to clean this, because it's not my gun, I'm borrowing this, I was able to actually separate that eventually. But man, I was like, I had to really struggle, take a lot of strength to get that apart. So it was able to come apart eventually, and so in that way, it takes apart just like a regular 1851. So it's pretty cool that they are pretty faithful to that. So in terms of overall build quality and everything, I mean, if you're used to your birdie reproductions of old revolvers like this is no different from those. Very, very high quality, just like my 1858. This is a very, very high quality pistol. I love the bluing on it, the color case hardening on the frame there. The brass as well for the frame, the grips. I mean, everything on this is it's a very, very nice looking piece, honestly. As far as accuracy goes, it took a little getting used to because the grip it's kind of small, to be honest. Like for me, it's just a little small, and I never really did find this super comfortable to shoot, at least for my grip and how I was shooting, which maybe it's just endemic to these types of revolvers. But I mean, even the 1858 I find a little bit more comfortable than the 51 here. But for shooting, the single action on this is of course extremely crisp and very light, very pleasurable to shoot, and of course under a recoil, which, well, actually under normal circumstances the recoil will be a little bit more, but with 38 special out of this thing is like, I want to say like at least 2.5 pounds, maybe just 2 pounds, but it's very heavy for a pistol, especially a 38. So this thing just doesn't recoil hardly at all. But under normal circumstances, these are designed to kind of rock back in your hand, so that way when your thumb reaches up in the back here, you're right there at the notch, and you can easily cock the hammer for another shot. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, recoil non-existent, super awesome, very smooth shooter, and that's why you have to be careful with squibs though, because if you're not really paying attention, or you're trying to go fast or something and you don't notice the squib in there, you could have some issues. But I have no doubt that this thick steel barrel, I mean that's a thick barrel, would be able to handle the pressures, but of course you never want to shoot a squib like that. So yeah, trigger was good. Ergonomics, not really my most favorite, because I guess my hands aren't really meant for something quite like this, but it still shot pretty good. As far as accuracy, I was able to get my usual 2.5 and 2-inch groups at 25 yards with this, even with these sights here, which is actually, it's kind of interesting because the front sight here is like a rounded kind of triangle cone shape, which I haven't really seen before, which is kind of interesting. And then of course the rear notch is just a rear notch. So getting a sight picture on that was a little interesting, and not exactly my most preferred sight picture, but it worked okay. Yeah, so just with regular like range ammo, yeah, 2.5 to 2-inch groups, 25 yards offhand, not a problem at all. But I really owe that more to the sight radius and the fact that the single action trigger on this is very good. So very pleased with the results with that. So overall, I mean, there's not really a whole lot to criticize on this. I mean, aside from the difficulty of getting the barrel off. And of course, the somewhat strange manual of arms of having to open your loading gate here, put on a half cock, and then emptying your shells out without having an ejector rod. My first instincts, because operating single action revolvers like this, my first instinct was to keep pressing the ejection rod, and I was like, wow, where's the ejection rod? It's not there, and so it looks kind of odd when you're at the range. You got to take a stick or something and poke out your cartridges and then load them in, and do all that. And then it looks even weirder because this is 1851. Most people don't associate 1851s with a cartridge conversion, so I had a lot of range officers looking at me kind of weird, like, what the heck is this guy doing? I'm like, cartridge conversions. It's just different. But yeah, so very, very, very slick, easy shooter. I mean, I'm not sure I want to do like cowboy action shooting with it or anything, because it seems a little bit nice for that. And of course, this is one of those like limited edition type ones, like the Man with No Name, from the Clint Eastwood trilogy, of course, which I'm in the process of watching. So because I actually haven't seen those yet. And I just watched the first one recently, Fistful of Dollars, and that was actually pretty good. So I'm eager to watch the rest of the trilogy. I'm sure it'll be really good. But yeah, something like this, very sweet, easy shooter, total pussycat in 38, especially because it weighs so much. This thing's a boat anchor. Certainly the mechanical accuracy is absolutely there. And I mean, that's just, usual U-Birdie quality. I've had such great results with anything I've used that's been U-Birdie. Literally across their entire line. Anything they make has been fantastic. Like I've shot their 45-70 rifles. I've shot some of the other revolvers and things like that. They've just always been good. And in general, I find them to be a little bit better than the Pieta clones. but that's just me. That's been my experience. So both for cartridge guns and black powder aside, the Abertis have been absolutely excellent, and I have a lot of confidence in them. So this is no exception. So I'm very, very pleased with this. I think if I was going to get into an 1851 that wasn't a black powder, I'd probably go with one of these cartridge conversion ones, just because the simplicity of having a modern cartridge. I wouldn't shoot like plus P's through this or anything, but just the simplicity and ease of having a modern cartridge, not having to buy black powder supplies, not having to clean this immediately after shooting it, all that stuff. There's a lot of benefits to having a cartridge conversion gun for your classic black powder revolvers. So this is pretty cool, and this is certainly more too than like a Howell conversion swap cylinder. I've seen a lot of those for like 1858s and other Colts. They have a cartridge conversion cylinder that you can use, but a lot of those do require some kind of machining work, like machining a whole loading gate. Or I've seen other bizarre examples where aftermarket there's companies that make ejector rod housings that they put on the side of the gun here, so you can have your ejector rod. All kinds of crazy stuff you can do with these things, but I think going to that extent is a little much. So it is nice to see like a factory kind of, offering, right? Where they pretty much do all this work for you, and even integrate some cool features like the loading lever here, housing your, extractor pin, I guess, right? So that's pretty cool. But yeah, very, very neat piece. And I'm glad I got the opportunity to try and shoot one of these things. Like I said, total pussycat for shooting, very pleasant experience. No recoil, quite accurate, good trigger. I mean, what else do you want from a gun, right? And of course, it also looks the part. So you got all the things that you want: looks, functionality, accuracy, everything. Pleasure to shoot. It's just a good overall package. So figured I'd bring that to you guys. Just a real quick one here too, because I mean, there's not really a whole lot for me to say about these kinds of revolvers, but cool. So I hope to get a black powder version of one of these days, because I've really been interested so far because I got into it with my 1858. I want to try the whole like classic lineup of black powder. So your 1851s, your 1860s, 61s, all that stuff, right? So very nice little piece, and cool. Thought I'd bring it to you guys, and if you guys have shot one of these before, let me know what you think about it, because they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. They're nifty. So yeah, cool. That's all I got to say about that, and we'll see you next time.